In this video, I am going to show you how to insert an image into your HTML file and how to link your image. So it's very simple to do this in Dreamweaver. All you have to do is to, I want to tell you the shortcut key, but let me show you the menu first. It's insert, there's many ways. Insert, image, and then when I do that, I can navigate to my image and insert it. I'm just going to go through a couple different menu options. You decide the one you like best. Then we can go over here under the Insert panel, and I'm going to go to Common, which is probably what you see. And I'm going to choose Images and just choose Image. And then I get the same menu. I would choose my image and all that. Now the way I do it is on a Mac it would be Command Option I. On a PC it's Control Alt I. I prefer that. Then I navigate to my image. My image is in my site files already. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about images for just a second. Images need to be sized to the size you want them to be on your screen before you insert them in your page. There are many ways to work around this concept, and like if you're working with WordPress and that kind of thing, you can get away with uploading an image and it will do some resizing for you. But in this case, when we're just doing hand coding and creating our HTML files ourselves, we need to size the image in Photoshop, and I will go over that in an upcoming lecture. We need to do that before we put it into our site folder, our images folder, and before we insert it into our page. If you insert a large image into your web page, you are forcing the browser to download a super large image. You are forcing the browser to resize it, because there is a way you could insert a really large image and tell it the size that you want it to show up, and you're asking the browser to be an image editing tool at that point, which it is not. So all images must be their proper size and must be in your images folder before you ever get to the step of inserting them. Whether it's an interface image, like a graphic for your header, your background, whatever it may be, or whether it's an image that you're just inserting directly into your page. This lecture deals with directly inserting them into your page. Just a side note, but they must be the proper size before you ever get to working with them in any way with your site. So we're going to click OK. Now once I click OK, you want to fill in the alternate text. I usually don't fill in the long description. I always do not fill in the long description. But right here you want to describe it. Puppy resisting leash. And I'll click OK. And there's the puppy resisting the leash. If I click on it, this is the image. Now, another note about images. Once we get to actually working with the layout that you design and you want to see in a web page, the first mistake many people make is they try to insert background images, things that need text that you're going to type in on the page. They try to insert images directly on the page, and then they try to put stuff on top of the image. If I insert an image directly into the page, I cannot type text over it. If I try to, so I select my image and I try to type, my image goes away. Okay? Now there's a lot of ways you can layer images. You can put text into your image, export it, and put it. There's a lot of things you can do, but as far as just straight up putting an image on the page and then trying to type text over it or put something over it just straight up like I'm doing right now, it will not work. If I wanted this puppy to be in the background so I could put text over it, I have to use CSS to do that. We haven't gotten that far in the lectures, but that's how I would do that. It has to be a background. This is very, very important because it will come up very soon for all of you. Okay, so the image is there. It's been the alt. I didn't explain that very well to you, so let me do it now. The reason we put alt information in is because the search engine doesn't know except for what the file is named, and you should name your file something meaningful, like I know this is an iStock image, so I just left it the way I got it from iStock since this is just a demo. But really, if I were using this in a real project, I would get rid of all of this extra text. So let me open it up over here. It'll be easier to see the file name. I would get rid of all of this extra text, stock-photo -14 and the whole number. I would leave dog in protest, dog resisting leash, puppy resisting leash, something like that. Maybe I put the breed of the puppy in there, I don't know. But that would be the file name. Remember, with file name, and we talked about this already, don't put spaces in your file name. See how what would be a space is separated with a dash? That it works, or if you use uppercase, lowercase with everything all smushed together, that's another option. Okay, so that's the file name. But then, so the browser can read the file name and it can get an idea of what the file might be about. But then we've got this alt over here, so that stands for alternate. So when we look at the code, we see we've got Dreamweaver decided to wrap my image in a paragraph for me. Maybe I don't want that. I can remove the open paragraph and close paragraph tag if I don't want it in a paragraph. And then we see the image, IMG, SRC. This is the code to insert an image by hand. And then we see that we've put the width in, Dreamweaver put the width and height in automatically. And so those are attributes and those are the values. And then we get over here to alt equals puppy resisting leash. That is what the search engine will read in addition to the file name to figure out what this image is about. It's also helpful for people who either have images turned off, for some reason can't see the images, are using a screen reader, etc. You really need to describe every single image. Okay, so the next thing is, well, and really for the sake of hand coding, let me just show you this in slow motion. If I were to, now I can do the Control-Alt-I or Command-Option-I right here in Code View, and the same dialog box comes up. But if I wanted to hand code this, it would go like so: less than IMG space SRC. And if I don't remember that, here's what Dreamweaver does: less than IMG. So I have to know that part. Space. And now I can go, oh gosh, okay, what is it? And I can go down the list of options here if I don't remember. And I can see that I've got SRC, and hopefully that triggers something. Now the other thing is I can go, well, I think it starts with an S, and it'll at least take me to the S's. So SRC stands for source, so image source, and if I double click on it, then I double click browse, I can get to my images. And I click OK, and then I always have to remember to put in my width. And look, if I just start to type the word width and hit enter, it helps me. And then like it's already telling me I know the size, 380. That's in pixels. Then I do space, and it's trying to help me. It's saying, what do you want? I got all these options. Height is one of them. I could just double click height, or I could start typing the word height. I usually just start typing the word height, and once it fills it in like that, I hit enter or return on a Mac, and then I see that it's got my height, so I hit enter again. And then I go to Alt and hit enter. I selected it and hit enter, and then I can describe my image here. Okay, and then lastly, I want to close, well, in the case of, in the case of, I'm going to close my image tag here. So there we go. That would be hand coding, inserting an image, which is a lot more work than just Command-Option-I or Control-Alt-I, and you run a lot less risk of a lot of things happening. Now, when you do this in Code View, I think I've spelled that incorrectly. It's still, if like I just did Control-Alt-I, Command-Option-I, it still went ahead after I hit enter, and it added my width and height for me automatically. The only thing I had to do was select the image and type in my alt. So there's 3 different ways right there to get to the same thing. Now, how do we make this image? We have puppies all over our screen. I'm going to get rid of one of those, 2 of those. There we go. Okay, so how do I make that a hyperlink? It's really, really easy. Really super easy. I'm going to go to design view like I am in right now. It's the easiest way to do it, really. I mean, I could be in code view and do it, but really we're starting out. It's beginning time, right? So design view, click the image, and then I can go right down here and I can paste, if this goes to where I got this on iStock Photo, I could paste the hyperlink to that image right here, or I can use my little point to file and go to the second page if I'm linking to something within my site. And that's it. Now remember, if I am going to go somewhere else, iStock Photo, whatever, I need to make sure the whole thing's in. So I usually copy the URL from, if I'm getting it from the web somewhere, I just copy that whole address bar, and I don't hand type this, but we're going to say Google this time. Remember, if it's an external link like this, then you want to do target equals blank. If it is a link to inside my site, second page, I do not want target equals blank normally, okay? So that is how to insert an image and how to have an image be a link. Oh, wait, we have this blue border. What do we do with that? That will come when we learn CSS. We will make that go away. That is the default style for the browsers, and we'll learn more about that very, very soon.